And we're going to hop right into this. We have a 2-hour special today. We have a pigskin preview, and we're going to go to Wisconsin right away.
Sounds good. Let's go up there.
We're going to go up to Beloit Memorial, and Rodney Wedig is in his second year as the Purple Knights head coach. And, Coach, great to have you on the show today, and you guys are only like 2 weeks away. That doesn't seem possible, does it?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, we start early, August 3rd. We got things rolling, so this is we're wrapping up our first week of practice right now, and, 2 weeks from today we'll have a game in our belt already.
You look at week 1 of practice, how's the team coming together so far?
A lot better. I mean, made significant gains, obviously, with being my second year, a year in the building as a teacher. You get to know the kids a little better, get to know, maybe a little more what to expect. So, I think we've got a lot better attitude. I think the team's coming together well, and we just had a really good off season.
You kind of went from two extremes there in schools, and it's not like you can come into a program that was kind of down and start contending right away. So what are you seeing kind of going from year 1 to having kind of that full off season and going into year 2?
Well, really, yeah, it was just the off-season away program was obviously key. Last year, we were the other teams pretty much out-muscled us every game, so we really had to get stronger up front. And then, just kind of getting kids used to more of a winning mentality and, instead of this kind of defeatist mentality. And, I've seen we've had our leaders have really stepped up in the off-season. We've got some great kids that are kind of leading our way. And, it makes the coach's job so much easier when you have that leadership in place that are doing things the right way. Because sometimes you get these kids that want to be leaders, but they themselves aren't doing it the right way, so why would somebody follow them?
Coach, I compare you to Coach Dan Apino down here, who went from Boylan, who won 2 state championships in a row, went to Auburn and is turning that program around. Do you football coaches just like these challenges? Because you came from a very successful program to one that you've had to work pretty hard to get developed again. Is that kind of the thing that a coach likes to do, teach and learn some things from his kids?
Some of it, like me personally, I do. I'm really, like I said, I'm very excited. Last year, it was almost like, starting from scratch and I had to, scrap a bunch of things I wanted to do just because I forgot exactly where we were in the process. You can't come over, like I said, when you've got a team that's won a lot of conference titles back to back where the kids just that atmosphere, the culture's already there. Yeah, it's really, it's a slow process, but again, for me personally, it's very exciting, very gratifying.
You talked about doing things the right way and having some leaders step up. How do you build that culture, in a program that has been so down?
Well, the biggest thing is, you reward the kids that are doing things the right way. I think sometimes, when coaches are kind of desperate to try to get a few wins, you latch on to kids that maybe are great athletes or whatever, but maybe aren't doing things the right way in the classroom and, in the community and things like that. And so, one of the things we as a coaching staff said was, listen, we're going to find these kids that are doing things the right way, not only on the field, in the weight room, but in the classroom, things like that. And we build around those guys. And then, those guys, if they step up and become leaders, which they have, just everybody else kind of follows in line. And that's probably been our biggest gain this off season, is that we've sort of identified the kids that we can really build a program around, and a lot of our best leaders are juniors. So we've got, like I said, we're really building for the future.
You look at offense. How's your offensive leadership been? I mean, you got to have a quarterback that can run that offense. You got to have some guys that have some pretty good skills. How's that coming for you this year, Coach?
Well, offensively, I think we'll be very good. Steve Mackinnon he's only a junior, and he's one of those kids I talked about that just does everything the right way. He really worked hard, went to some camps in the off season. He started the last 7 games for us last year, so he steps in as a junior. And then Tyrese Pegues-Jones is another one of our leaders, a running back. He didn't have a lot of, statistically, you wouldn't say he had a real successful year last year, but again, he started as a sophomore. Our offensive line really wasn't where it had to be, so he didn't, like I said, statistically wasn't great, but I expect him to have a breakout year. And then probably one of the kids that's really solidified our offensive line is Matt Veith, who's also only a junior. He increased his bench and squat totals by over 200 pounds together, in the off season, and now he's a 6'4", 280-pound kid who's now twice as strong as he was last year, and I look for him also to do some good things.
Well, you got some kids stepping up on offense. What about the defensive side of the ball? Are some of those kids going to have to play 2 ways, or do you have some kids that are stepping up over on that side of the ball?
No, we've really kind of made a commitment not to play guys 2 ways, to really develop guys. It saves practice time and things like that. So defensively, we've revamped the entire defense. One of the things what I brought over from Bigfoot, we had a lot of success there at Bigfoot, but we wanted to revamp it where maybe we can get a little more speed because we simply don't have the size up front that I was blessed with when I was at Bigfoot. So we really revamped our defense completely, and just put kids out there, try to make it a little more disciplined, but yet at the same time a little more aggressive. Defensively, like I said, C.J. Gron, who actually started the year last year as a quarterback for us, we moved him over kind of to quarterback the defense, make all the adjustments, calls, things like that, and he's going to play outside linebacker. He's really had a good camp and a good offseason. And Tyler Dupuis also, he's one of the smaller guys, but he's kind of that wrestling tough type that just knows the game real well, and he's going to play safety for us. And then we got to just find the pieces to go around them. But yeah, I'm excited. I think the new scheme will help us in the Big 8.
We're talking to Beloit Memorial head football coach Rodney Wedig. And, Coach, special teams are important for anybody. They can win or lose you a tight game. How's your special teams looking for this season?
Well, that was a mission I didn't quite accomplish. I said after last year I was just going to comb the hallways to find somebody who just wanted to come out and kick for me. But I've got a couple prospects. And then actually in the offseason, too, my son, who's going to be a freshman, who's a pretty good-sized kid, I've had him long snapping and punting all offseason, too. So I said, if I can't find one in the building, I'll find one in my house. So we'll be better. We will be better. Right now, none of that's locked in. But we've got our prospects are better because our specialties, especially our punt team, and that's why I was saying about the long snapping and punting. Our punt team was just awful last year. So, we've got a couple kids that can punt and now a couple kids that can long snap. So we're just going to, see who shines when the pressure's on.
We talked about what you've seen so far in week 1 of practice. What's going to be the key to the next 2 weeks of practice as you prepare for that first game?
Well, the big thing is, like you said, it goes so fast, and after next week and we scrimmage, then the weeks just fly by because, it's just game preparation and almost more mentally draining for the kids than physically, where we really get after it these first 2 weeks to try to get them in shape. So, we'll see. I thought last year I felt like we were always preparing kind of like as an NCAA tournament thing. We were always like the 16 seed, and I think this year we're preparing more as maybe a 12 seed where, we might not be expected to win, but, if the other team makes a few mistakes, we can capitalize. And so, it's kind of part of the excitement. Like I said, when I was at Bigfoot, there were weeks where, I had to kind of be creative just to try to get the kids excited for the game because I knew it was kind of a mismatch on paper. And now we're scratching and clawing just to see if we can find any sort of advantage possible, which, like I said, which is what I love about this job.
Before I let you go, you open up with Janesville Craig, a pretty good football program over there in the Big 8. That's kind of rough, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, it's terrible. That was a big adjustment. Again, every school I've been at, so for 20 years, I've always opened up with 2 non-conference games where you can kind of get tuned up. You can, and then you can change your non-conference games to kind of match your talents. Where are we at? So who can I play? Bring in, and when you start right away, right in the Big 8, I mean, there's there's no rest for the wicked, so to speak. You're right into it, and it counts. And it's very tough adjustment. But we, like I said, 2 weeks away in conference play.
Well, thanks, Coach, for being on and representing Wisconsin. I think I'm going to try to make it up for that game in 2 weeks because we don't start here for another week. So I'll get to see the Purple Knights. That'll be fun.
All right. Should be. All right. Thanks, guys.
We've been talking to Coach Rodney Wedig, the head coach at Beloit Memorial. They'll open the season August 21st against Janesville Craig in the Big 8. We're going to take a time out. We're going to go to the Nick 10.
There you go.
As the Pigskin Preview continues on this special Saturday morning on the State Line Sports Hour.